Now, one of the most amazing pieces of testimony yesterday was Harry Dunn talking about the racial angle to the protests, the racial slurs that were slung at him and other Capitol Police. That should be an eye opener. For some, it's not. Shockingly, people like NewsMax's Greg Kelly, they're not quite convinced by it.
Where's the audio? Sorry, but there were 900 body cams. There were the surveillance all over the place. Where's the audio? I've heard all kinds of audio, but I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. And I doubt that. I do.
Yeah, he's just, look, Jayar, I know maybe you're gonna criticize him. He's just an impartial arbiter. I have taken in the data and I doubt it. There's no preconceived notions about anything here. Yeah, we're all shocked, Greg Kelly, that you don't believe the black cop talking about his experience of being called the N-word. That's breaking news. That should be the Chiron. Why isn't that the Chiron, Sophie?
That's not now. It's always been the standard because I mean, back when recordings of things happening to black folks kind of began, at least the biggest account of it was Rodney King in like '91. When finally someone recorded a black person being assaulted by multiple police officers just wailing at him. So ever since then, there was a 10% awakening that, you mean all these black people aren't lying? That was like 10% of it. And then slowly, as we've had more and more technology where everyone has a small computer in their hands, filming everything that they see, now the new standard is unless you filmed it, it didn't happen. Which the basis for that is these black people are liars. Every single one of them. If a black person says something happened, we're starting with their lying. Unless they prove it, unless they produced evidence of what they said happened, it absolutely didn't happen. I don't buy it.
I think you're being too easy on them. They don't believe they were attacked. That's all on video. They don't care about that at all.
Yep, there's plenty of audio, by the way. Greg Kelly, where's the audio? Where's the video? There's hundreds of hours of evidence. We looked at it and you're still denying that the rest of it happened. So
yeah,
what do we?
First of all, so Jayar, let me ask you a question. So if the audio comes out of them yelling the N-word at him, well, he'll change his mind, right?
Yeah, it was Antifa. It was him and his other officers saying that to make sure that they got a tape of someone saying it, and they're trying to frame these good insurrectionists that stormed the Capitol violently and attacked people. Yeah. It doesn't have to make sense. As long as you're on the racist side, that's all that matters. There's no truthfulness. There's no execution to this principle. The principle is racism, and racism is based in hatred and ignorance. That's all those are the only two boxes you have to check. What's left? You don't have just hate, and you're on that side.
Just hate. Ugh, God,
I'm so tired.
Okay, by the way, I'm just gonna quick throw this aside. We weren't gonna do like a full clip on this or whatever, but so you know that there's been all those stories that have been coming out over the past month. I mean, there were some last year too, but X person had a ton of social media posts of like it's just the flu, doesn't matter, it's Bill Gates' conspiracy theory, and then they die. Or they go through a horrible experience from COVID or whatever. He did a whole segment and none of it was, it breaks my heart that these people were so misinformed and then died. It was, why are people discussing these stories? That's shaming people. Like he finally acknowledged that people are dying thanks to misinformation, but he doesn't want them to stop. He wants you to stop trying to correct the misinformation that's killing them. It's mind blowing. But I mean, I guess I've never been offered millions of dollars in exchange for those of you watching the show to die. I would like to assume that I wouldn't accept that deal, but some people really like millions of dollars, I guess. Anyway, sorry, final thoughts?
If we're gonna compare things to like, the protests and the clashes last year during the summer over police brutality, and even before that, when they were mad about Colin Kaepernick and the chance of frying pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. They said that about 1 million times on Fox because protesters were chanting that at one of these. They're upset about that chant, but they're not upset about what's, by the way, maybe they caught it on camera. Sure, they said it. So what about the things we caught on camera of them specifically saying, you're gonna die. I'm gonna take your gun and kill you. Nancy, hang Mike Pence. We heard all of that. Why aren't those chants threatening? Maybe because of who they came from?
Maybe
Weird.
because nothing matters.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.